Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map. Today I wanted to speak to you about my experience with Wildwood Tarot. Um, it's one of those decks that I seem to be using in a very specific way without actually have thought about this way beforehand. It just kind of always comes out when I'm either in nature or speak about or like want to explore within myself, a connection to plant spirit, to stone spirit, to nature spirit of any sort. So I did have that started when I went into a forest one day and I had this deck, and like I was passing by these amazing things in nature, mushrooms growing on trees, some amazing herbs, flowers, plants, water, web, like spider webs and stuff like this. And I was just kind of amazed, in this kind of state when you, a little bit like, it's not a fully meditative state, but you're definitely not totally like in a logical mind. You're outside of it, a little bit. You're much more in the right hemisphere. And I did have this deck, so I started to stop, shuffle the cards, and ask the question, mushroom what's this mushroom teachings, or what does this web, or the spider medicine, what does it mean to me, or what do they teach me, what do they want to tell me, what's the message from this tree, what's the message from this plant. And to be honest, I was using the whole deck, but most of the time I used to pull major arcana only, and it was quite like amazing. And you know how I did this video, my last video about autumn equinox, and I was using Mad Tarot just because it's seasonal, and I wanted to see how she connected, the Mad Tarot to elements and to the wheel and to the natural just changing season. In Mad Tarot, she connected the autumn element to autumn season, to sword element, to swords, and swords were also changed from air to fire. So she saw autumn as fire. So yes, this element of fire and swords to autumn, it just didn't glue with me. Um, I did check yesterday the companion book to Wildwood. I did read some of it before, but I didn't really pay too much attention because I use these cards most intuitively, and like I'm brought up in Europe, so I have my personal connection to all the plants and animals and stuff. But I did mention in that video that I would prefer to see autumn element as air or as the element of water, because water is connected to emotions, to sunset, to the element of west, and that's how they see it here. It's just the kind of setting sun, which represents shorter days. And in Wildwood Tarot, this is time of vessels, so time of water, time of cups element. It's about autumn equinox, and there are three cards that represent this energy here. It's the wheel, so the change of seasons, and here we have the sun and the moon. I love the addition of that magic tree, which is hazel. And there is that shared kind of that represents our fate and that we created. There are three herons, and to be honest, since late summer this year, I've never heard it before, but I've heard a lot of heron calls. First of all, I felt there were some, I wasn't sure what birds they are. They're actually huge. They land, they fly, they land on top of trees, they sit there. So they're quite amazing and powerful birds. And I had quite a few encounters with grey herons over the last few months. I love the hagstones used. So this represents autumn equinox, and it kind of asks you, how do you deal with change? Do you see a change as fate? Do you struggle with change? Do you empower your own change? And it shows about cycles of universal laws, and evolution of the natural cycles, but also of our personal cycles when you tune in with the natural ones. So it is about change being at hand and changing elements. And also, it is here to remind you that life is what happens while you are waiting for it to begin. So try, rather than um, treat change unconsciously, to treat it much more consciously. But also this time of the year, the pestle, the water, the autumn equinox, it's connected to the mirror, which is like the hangman, and to the seer, which is like high priestess. So they both quite inactive cards, because this particular autumn equinox time requires of us this kind of withdrawal for too much activity. And that also what's happening outside when you look at nature, when everything just concentrates energy inside, the juices go in to have enough power to strive through winter. So the dark midnight sea lies before the soul that must take the journey to the mysterious island of healing. So this is like Morgana maybe taking Arthur to Avalon. And here with the left hand she holds a crystal ball, and this is the orb of seeing, and she might be the dark woman of knowledge. I just love how my imagination gets sparked reading even those names, the orb of seeing and dark woman of knowledge. So this figure reveals insights and wisdom to those on spiritual journey. And she acts as a holder and guardian of journey of the soul into deeper awareness and wisdom. So often it requires of you natural state of surrender, and also this mirror aids our inner reflection, and orb of seeing helps illuminate the shadow of our inner light. So patience is required, as with Hanged Man. You cannot force happening. You have to surrender to those natural cycles, but be conscious of them. Don't just let the fates swipe you and just do your life unconsciously. It's also about trust and surrender of will. Insights may come from dreams, meditations, but now is not the time to force the pace or drive on with a plan or desire until you have heard what your soul has to say and your bruised and wounded spirit has been healed. Be patient. So this is a time for us to also heal, listen to our wounds, to our shadows, to our like enlighten our insights. And this is about inner journey, psychism, dark night of the soul, dark woman of knowledge, goddess of sexual energy and healing. So it's also perfect time to heal our wounds or our sexuality, sensuality. And the seer is kind of based in the middle, in this middle circle on the wheel, and it's facing the shaman, and they both are the gateways to the world tree. So also connected to the element of water and to autumn equinox, she acts as a guide to the world tree, and we can see that she stands here on these roots, like kind of draws her power from the roots of the world tree. She's in front of it. She's got all the elements: the stone, the water, the stave, the arrowhead, so the air element as well. And here she's got also the owl's cloak of wisdom, so it's the feathered owl cloak. She can also speak in riddles, but if you listen, she can point you to new, wiser beginnings. The seer acts as oracular mediator of the feminine, intuitive and imaginative principle. This deck always awakens my imagination a lot. think because it's connected to my culture, like where I come from, it's pretty easy for me to like get it. Her mediation is based on grounded energy and skill, so she's connecting to the roots of the world tree. And the feathered cloak represents the flight of thought and the intellect, mature and stabilized through her deep rooted power, grounded in the memory of the conscious earth. Um, so, this is the realm of dreams, this is the realm of trance like state, trance. And she's also inspires the emotional link, so she's got, the vessel is quite big, so emotional link to a book or a piece of music. This is that feeling that you get when you see a beautiful sunset, so where there's an emotional response to something. um, she has the ability to balance those emotions, and this beautiful position, she has closed eyes and her hand is like kind of either drawing energy from the earth but also letting the energy of the sky go into the earth. um, so in a way she's like balancing the willpower, balancing the emotions, the intellect. She's just in tune with all natural phenomena, and she fosters the positive exercise of will manifested by emotion and commitment and resulting in outer material effect. So it's not just, in her, she's like becoming one. um, and this is a time to focus your power and let it flow through you. That's her position. Many dreams or desires related to the creative emotional process are ready to be applied in your day-to-day life. So she also encourages, not only, as I said, kind of tuning in, but also manifesting it through you. um, this may also relate to healing, to sexual relationships or partnerships. Now, the manifestation of inner spiritual or esoteric insights into your practical and physical daily life will bring profound rewards and results. So, bring spirit to matter. She also relates to creative impulses such as art, mechanical skills and crafts, and the joy of bringing pleasure and knowledge to others. So, also this teaching archetype. And this is about inspiration and wisdom, oracular prophecy, inner vision, shamanic flight, soul healing, and empathy with nature. So, I think that these three cards really speak much more to my understanding of autumn equinox compared to the understanding of the mud tarot with the autumn as swords and fire. I do see see it more, at least in northern hemisphere, as water, and there's a lot of rain. It's kind of misty. It kind of looks a little bit like that, but also a little bit like that. There's still some greens, but slowly the leaves are falling down. So, yeah, much more water than fire, that's for sure. So this is what I wanted to share. Let me know which your thoughts are on autumn equinox and on the element or suit that you would associate with it. I'm very curious to know. Thanks for watching and speak to you soon.